We just got two very interesting updates on the Iran F-15 Strike Eagle shootdown you need to see to believe. Plus, an F-35 just controlled an unmanned attack drone for the very first time, while yet another stealth drone passes a very important milestone. I'm Thomas Mott, this is MachSquawk. So these two new details that just came out about the downed F-15 Strike Eagle over Iran about a month ago are pretty wild. As according to a brand new report from Sean Naylor on Substack, the F-15E pilot who was shot down in the now infamous April 3rd incident was the exact same pilot who was shot down by a Kuwait F-18 Hornet a few weeks earlier. Which that alone is a wild story. Again, if true, we have one legit reporter on Substack mentioning it, nothing else as of filming have corroborated the story. But Naylor did write, quote, "The pilot of the F-15E Strike Eagle shot down on April 3rd over Iran was also the pilot of one of the three F-15Es shot down by a Kuwaiti F-18 Hornet in a friendly fire incident less than 5 weeks previously, making him almost certainly the Air Force's first fixed-wing pilot to be shot down twice in the same conflict since the Vietnam War, according to a current and former Air Force officials." Now, assuming this is true, it does make sense, but for a very specific reason. First off, Operation Epic Fury was a very high-tempo military operation, with pilots likely expected to fly repeatedly during combat campaigns, with recycled crews rapidly turning jets over, recovering, and launching again. And the Kuwait friendly fire incidents happened on March 1st and March 2nd, as reports indicate the three Strike Eagles from the 494th Fighter Squadron out of RAF Lakenheath were engaged and shot down by the Kuwaiti F-18 Hornet, likely due to the chaos of Iranian missiles and drone attacks hitting the region at the same time. And of course, you've heard by now that all 6 crew members of the 3 F-15s that were shot down by the friendly fire Kuwaiti F-18, they landed safely and were recovered, but if the Substack story is true, one of those pilots was sent up pretty darn quickly after that and then got shot down again. On April 3rd, 2026, the 4th Strike Eagle from the same squadron was reportedly shot down over Iran itself, resulting in the days-long search and rescue effort heard around the world that became so famous that reportedly Michael Bay is already working on the film script for. And that leads well into this other brand new update via NBC about what exactly shot down that F-15 Strike Eagle. As according to the news outlet, they wrote, quote, "The F-15 fighter that was shot down over southwestern Iran last month and set off a dangerous rescue mission was probably struck by a Chinese-made shoulder-launched missile." 3 people with knowledge of the matter told NBC News. Now, a shoulder-launched missile is also known as a man-portable air defense weapon, or MANPAD, and they're an inexpensive but pretty effective way to take down low-flying aircraft. Now, normally, MANPADs threaten lower flying and slower helicopter and transport aircraft, as targeting and tracking a high-flying fast mover, let's say over 40-50,000 feet, with a simple Stinger-like weapon is nearly impossible. This is why experts in the article think the Strike Eagle was likely operating low, possibly trying to train mass during a strike ingress or egress. AKA, the Strike Eagle was flying so low to avoid actual SAM sites, S-300s for example, and yet, because he was so low, he could be locked on and fired upon by the MANPAD. Now, of course, all this is source speculation. The U.S. military has not confirmed any of this, and NBC and other outlets are sourcing people with, quote, knowledge in the know. But the more that actually comes out about this historic Strike Eagle loss, the wilder the story gets. Now, moving on from Iran and over to the F-35, and apparently, according to reports, a JSF has just controlled an unmanned aircraft for the very first time. As according to General Atomics in conjunction with Lockheed Martin, quote, "General Atomics worked with Lockheed Martin and the F-35 Joint Program Office and several Air Force units demonstrate the Avenger's ability to conduct advanced manned-unmanned teaming. This concept is core to collaborative combat aircraft, which will be semi-autonomous drones that pair up with crewed aircraft to extend the Air Force's reach and capability to carry out missions." The drone in question was the General Atomics MQ-20 Avenger, which is an advanced jet-powered unmanned combat aerial vehicle, built as a faster and stealthier successor to the propeller-driven MQ-9 Reaper, with its main mission to serve as a flying laboratory and surrogate collaborative combat aircraft, or CCA. The Avenger is powered by a Pratt & Whitney turbofan and is capable of a max speed of about 460 miles per hour with a 60,000-foot ceiling and crazy 20-hour endurance, plus a payload of up to 6,500 pounds. But the real story here is the fact that an F-35 with a pilot in the cockpit for the very first time actually command and controlled an unmanned drone, with Air and Space Forces writing, quote, "The commands, including orders to carry out tactical maneuvers and adjust its coordinates, were relayed to the MQ-20 via the data link through a satellite in low Earth orbit." General Atomics said the drone set back critical responses, location, altitude, and velocity data to the F-35 pilot. The Avenger was also equipped with General Atomics' Tactical Autonomy Ecosystem software, which is based on the government's latest autonomous software standard. Now, technically, the F-35 was not the first 5th-gen fighter to command and control the MQ-20, as an F-22 Raptor over the Nevada test range back in October of 2025 performed a similar test flight. But since the Air Force has made CCA drones one of their top priorities, the fact that we got a 5th-gen fighter command and controlling one for the first time is a massive deal. Although it must be noted, this is pretty funny, that despite what you see on social media and here in the news, these loyal wingman unmanned drones are still relatively new and unproven, as the F-35 in question remained, quote, on the ground and connected with the airborne Avenger drone using beyond line-of-sight communications, with the pilot in the F-35's cockpit sending tactical autonomy commands to the Avenger drone using a tablet, again, on the ground. Which, of course, is important to point out that it's not like the F-35 is in the air, flying around, doing maneuvers while also controlling a drone. The pilot was on the ground, still in the cockpit, and doing it from a tablet. Which sort of begs the question, how far away are we actually from not only having flying F-35s, command and controlling loyal wingmen, but also controlling them from the onboard screens inside, for example, the JSF cockpit? As again, the pilot in this scenario was sitting there using a tablet. So essentially, stationary on the ground in the F-35. Was the F-35 fired up or not? Probably not, but then firing away commands, again, from a tablet. All this goes to show that, yes, loyal wingmen are obviously the future. The Air Force is pouring a ton of money into this technology, but getting them not only up to speed, but also autonomously flying alongside manned aircraft, which are command and controlling them from said manned aircraft, is still quite a ways away. Which means that current 4th gen and 5th gen fighters like the F-35 and the F-22 are still going to be in total control in the battle space for years to come. We'll see how much longer it takes for these unmanned aircraft to catch up. Now, speaking of other unmanned drones, and Boeing just announced on June 1st that it had successfully conducted radar cross-section testing on its unmanned stealth drone, the MQ-28 Ghostbat, because the company said that the testing allows the platform to review and confirm its stealth performance, saying, quote, RCS testing was conducted on an MQ-28 to provide customers with objective, repeatable data, survivability, and detection risks. RCS is a critical engineering element for low observable or stealth aircraft. As the smaller it gets, the more difficult it is to detect the aircraft. The Ghostbat is Boeing's attempt at a stealth, multi-role, unmanned combat aerial vehicle as under development by Boeing in Australia for the RAF. And its design is a force multiplier aircraft capable of flying alongside crewed aircraft for support as part of the integrated systems, or loyal wingman. As of October 2024, 8 Block 1 vehicles have been built with more than 100 hours of flight training, with this latest test on these stealth capabilities being the most recent and perhaps the most important update so far. Now, moving on, last but not least, it appears we got yet another look at damage to one of the 5 KC-135s that were struck during the early stages of Operation Epic Fury, as a plane spotter took this photo of a KC-135R assigned to the Alaskan Air National Guard departing RAF Mildenhall in the UK bound for the United States. By the looks of it, there was quite a bit of patchwork done on the fly to the tail section and fuselage of the Alaskan tanker. This tanker was the most likely among the at least 5 Stratotankers damaged in the multiple Iranian attacks against PSAB during March 2026. Where 63-8028 was struck is unclear. According to Flight Radar 24, it deployed from Eielson Air Force Base, Alaska to Tel Aviv via Stuttgart on May 7, 2026, with flight tracking logs showing that the tanker flew its first operational mission a few hours after deploying to Israel. While it's unclear what will now happen to this tanker going forward, as the aircraft will at least go through inspections, more repairs, and an overhaul process before it's brought back to operational status, it's still crazy to see pictures like this showing the shrapnel damage, showing the patchwork as well, and the fact that the plane is flying again. Now, of course, plenty more updates happening in the next couple of days and weeks. If you're brand new to MachSquawk, I cannot thank you guys enough for getting us very close to 4,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. If you enjoy the military aviation news, you enjoy the show, drop a like, leave a comment, leave a hype down below as well. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been MachSquawk.